Hi guys, welcome to the first episode of Tame Your Tongue. Yes, she's finally doing it. I'm so excited. I've taken it kind of a long break from YouTube. But these breaks are necessary, you know. I don't know how people that put content out every day. Shout out to you. You are the real MVP because it's a lot. But I'm trying to become like you, to be very honest. If you're new here, you're not subscribed yet, please hit the subscribe button and hit the notification bell so that you know whenever a new episode of Tame Your Tongue drops. And if you have seen the shorts, the preview of this podcast, you would have seen me explain why you need to be subscribed to my channel. And I will explain again. Don't worry, I got you. One, I'm a very interesting personality, a very entertaining personality. It's like you will just not have a dull moment. That's the thing. Because my life is just so goddamn interesting. It's like a fucking movie, fam. Like, no jokes. And I'm recording today from my house. Um, that's why you can see me dressed very comfortably. Um, if you're going to come for me for wearing a robe, I'm sorry, that's your business because you're even lucky I'm wearing clothes. Do you live in Lagos? Have you seen the heat? Have you seen the heat? It's not funny. It's not funny. Anyway, so basically, I'm going to record these podcasts wherever I find myself. If I find myself in on the beach tomorrow, I will record at the beach. Wherever I find myself, I'll record whenever the spirit leads, you know? So yeah, this is the first episode. Let's get into it. Okay. So, this is kind of like a biography, but I will give you this story without getting into too much detail for now, okay? So, for anyone that does not know who I am, or for anyone that knows me but maybe doesn't know me so intimately, this would be really interesting for you to hear. My name is Manuela Unwarumi. Manuela means God with us, and there was a reason for that name, and there was a reason that name was given to me. It's because I was not supposed to be here. I'm basically a walking miracle. No cap. And I'll tell you why. So it all started with this 17-year-old actress named Becky Musa and this 19-year-old man named Peter Onwarumi. They happened to meet and fall in love. And we know as they go, so they fell in love out of love, in love out of love. Um, I mean, technically they broke up, got back together, and eventually stayed together. Now, what kept them together was a very serious thing that happened to my mother. So my mom was a stage actress, and she was acting as Tenu in Mirror of the Sun. And one day she's acting on stage and she slumps. And there's panic, like, what's going on? And it turns out she was later diagnosed with cancer of the lymph, known as non-Hodgkin's lymphoma. From that point, I believe my dad had a decision to make. They already had an ongoing relationship, but I believe at that point that things got critical. He had a decision to make as to whether, he would stay in the name of love, or he would just, find somebody else that would be easy. Somebody else that didn't have cancer and wasn't about to die. And he decided to stay. And a lot of the people she was in business with at the time. They weren't known as Nollywood yet. Um, they put out a lot of articles, you know, in newspapers just to put a word out there because she wasn't well to do. My parents come from very humble beginnings, and there was money to travel abroad to go and treat cancer. That was definitely not money that was had. And so they were relying on a miracle, basically. And the first miracle was the president at the time, President Ibrahim Babangida. One of the stories that was put out in the newspapers about my mom's story caught his attention, and he was the first miracle in the sense that God used him to provide the funds and the financial aid that was needed for her to travel and start treatment. And that was something so unbelievable that happened. They still talk about it till this day. When she finally went, she traveled abroad for treatment. And when things like this happen, you tend to know in those moments who's really for you and who was just here for, was just a gap filler, basically. And you can go from having so many people that know you and talk about you and talk to you to having no one in like a second, And my mom definitely experienced that. And my dad was a presence that has been a presence and stayed a presence from then up until now. And she travels for treatment. They basically tell her that her case is Oga, madam, you have to die. You only have 8 days to live. So cherish these 8 days and make the most of it from your hospital bed. Actually, no, I have that wrong. She had 8 days in coma. And those 8 days, the doctors had already said on the eighth day they were going to remove her from life support, and her body has to be brought back to Nigeria to be laid to rest. So before all of this, through all the bloating, through all the suggestions that had come from, oh, you need to go to this doctor, you need to go to this doctor, before the then president's intervention, my dad had serious work that he was doing in the sense of giving her a bath. She was unable to do anything because of the bloating. Again, I would put some pictures up for you guys to have a clear visual of what I'm describing. And yeah, they had gone through everything up until back to the point of her being in the coma for 8 days. Different people were coming to pray. Prayers were the only thing that could be relied on. And that is why till today, I do not believe that there is anything that cannot be prayed through, because I'm basically a living testimony of that. So prayers were going on. Day one, prayers, she's still lifeless. Day two, prayers, she's still lifeless. Day three, day four, no life. Day five, day six, day seven, no life. Now, speaking to my mom now, she tells me what happened on day seven. She says she had a dream. And in this dream, people were beating drums and basically calling her name. And they were saying, don't go, don't go. She wasn't responsive, but she saw two children that looked like twins. It was a boy and a girl. and she saw these children, and these children specifically started calling for her and telling her to come back, come back. And for whatever reason, simultaneously prayers are going on, and apparently, according to her, that was the dream that jolted her back to life. And I will explain to you further in the story why that dream is significant. And if you already know me and you're watching this, I'm pretty sure you understand why it is. But moving on, so day 8, miracle 2 happens. From this is the last day we're going to see you to she's alive. She is alive. And she comes back out of the coma, and yeah, that basically a whole, I can't wait to interview her about this. But after all of this, she's basically told that because of the harshness of chemotherapy, the chemotherapy was so harsh that it destroyed her womb, and the doctors told her she basically has no womb. And so her and whoever she's her significant other have to accept the fact that children would not be on the cards for them. And they accepted it. They loved each other enough to want to still stay with one another, and so they accepted that fate, and they moved on with life. And another thing that was told was that this cancer normally comes back to remission, meaning it would occur again. That's not the final occurrence of cancer. And that's another fate they accepted. But they also believe that the same God that brought her back on day 8 would also not let it come to remission. That cancer is not returning anywhere. That's what they believed, but they also accepted whatever the doctor had told them and moved on with life. They went to school. My dad went to do his master's. My mom also furthered her education. And they are apparently jogging one day, and my mom's jogging, and she's like, I'm getting a little bloated, like let's go for a jog. And they go jogging, and they get to a point where my mom's like, I need you to step on my stomach, speaking to my dad now, because my stomach's feeling, I'm getting a little fat, I don't know what's going on. And she lies down, my dad steps on her stomach, and she starts to bleed. And they're really confused, like what the fuck is going on? I'm not even finna say excuse my French in the entirety of this podcast, because it is my podcast and I'm gonna swear how I want to. Okay. So she starts bleeding as they step on her stomach, and they go to the doctor, and they find out my mom is pregnant. Pregnancy bow. I'm sorry, what? What happened? She's what? Because I believe the doctor has said that pregnancy is something that could not happen. How does one get pregnant without a womb, fam? Drop in the comments the scientific explanation for that. I'm waiting. Drop in the comments. Let me see it. No womb. She's pregnant. My dad made a joke one day as to him stepping on my mom's stomach, and maybe that's why I'm a little because I was fully in there and they had no idea I was in there. But yeah. That was miracle number what? How many miracles have I said so far? They have been plenty. This is probably miracle number 4 now. And yeah, they go to the hospital. Doctors are amazed and they are in awe and they are shook, basically. And my dad recorded. My parents were very intentional about recording a lot of things, right? So I still have the tape, the VHS, the tape of my birth. I have that. I need to buy a player so that I can actually watch that again. But he was inside the room, the delivery room. He was recording the whole thing and watching it as an adult. I remember when it got to the part where my mom pushed me out and all the blood came out, the camera drops and my dad passed out. And um apparently they even get a call in that delivery room from an unknown person saying, has the child been born? All of you that are too scientific, too educated to believe in spiritual forces and evil forces. In fact, isn't it scientific to believe that if wherever good is present, evil is also present? Good cannot exist without evil. How do you know what is good if you don't know what is bad? Do you get me? So it's no matter how educated I am, and I am very well educated by the way, my life's testimony is it defies logic. It really does. And God knows that if it wasn't me and if I didn't have like evidence to look at, I would have probably thought that this shit sounds like a movie. Like, what are you talking about? What are you talking about? It sounds too scripted. But that's me. That's my story. And from giving birth to me, that was a miracle in itself that they had already accepted like this is a lot. Like we didn't even expect children. Now we have one child. And I was basically treated like a princess because I was a miracle. And I am a miracle, no was. And 3 years later, my mom's pregnant again. They go to the doctor and they're like, Kilo, what's going on? I'm pregnant again. What's going on? I thought I do. What? Where is the womb? What is going on? And this time, she's not just pregnant with one, Ibeji. Two of them were inside. Ah, boss my head. Miracle number what? Number 7. So twins, fam. Twins. She was pregnant with twins. And that was another miracle that was so unbelievable. And they just, what do we, when you're just overwhelmed by God's love, like, what did I do? What have I done to deserve this type of blessing? Like, what? And now, if you've been following this story, you remember I said what brought my mom back to life on day 8 in the coma was the dream that she had of a boy and a girl calling her back to life. Is it? Are you? Is it? Yeah. Yeah. That was her babies that she had no idea she was going to have, telling her, "Mama, you need to stay here. We need you. We need you." When they say God has seen your destiny, has seen your future before it happens, girl. Anyway, so twins are born, and yeah, we basically get to experience God's unending love daily. We are basically products of God's miracles. We are living testimonies that miracles actually happen. And I did not intend for this podcast to be preachy at all, but if that's what it is, then fuck it. Any chance to spread hope and spread life to people, I'm going to take it. And if you're watching this and you're in any situation that seems hopeless, you're in a situation that seems dead, I'm telling you that God is still in the ministry of performing miracles. Never give up. Never give up. Even if that thing seems so like tomorrow is the deadline, tomorrow I'm supposed to be dead. Don't give up. Don't. Keep going. Keep praying. Keep believing. And your hope, as long as it is placed on God, it cannot fail. What's that thing MI says? Shout out to MI, by the way. He says a lot of things that I still, from the Talk About It album, that I still refer to. I bet on God because he uses all the aces. Yeah. I fill my life's pages with the goodness of the Rock of Ages. Till today, that is still my WhatsApp status. I've never changed it because that is basically, that's yeah. I feel a little silly when I complain about certain things because when I look back on how God brought me here, when there was already evidence that I wasn't supposed to be here, I can't help but be thankful that I'm alive and I know the meaning of O2, oxygen. I get to experience that and I get to experience life. I just feel like my life should be daily thanksgiving, daily celebration. And this is what has formed the personality that I have. I'm not saying I don't have down days. Oh girl, I have so many down days and you're gonna see some of them. Okay, but I'm saying the overall feeling is always joy because I cannot help it. I can't help it. And I want to spread that to you as well. And I believe this podcast would be out on Mother's Day. So I just want to say happy Mother's Day to every single woman that exists. Old, young, married, single, widowed, every type of woman that exists. Happy Mother's Day to you, because if you're not a mother already, you're a potential mother. And mothers are miracles, and we are bearers of miracles. Being able to bear children, the ability to bring life into the world, it's a miracle. And the ability to exist as a woman, the ability to just be, what is the word I'm looking for? You know, when you're able to be empathic naturally, that ability to just understand emotion, that ability to see beyond what your eyes can see. I feel like that's not something that is common between the sexes. And this is not to put any sex down. God created us equally. But women are powerful. If you have not experienced your own power yet, or you're not aware of your own power yet, you will get there. And I promise you, you will get to a point where your self-esteem is so high because you just know that the fact that you exist as a woman is a miracle and nobody should ever talk down on you. No. That's something that should never be allowed. This is how I'm going to end episode 1 of Tame Your Tongue. And I'm looking forward to episode 2. Episode 2 is a little more raunchy, a little more funny maybe, but also therapeutic. There's going to be a therapeutic theme to all my podcasts. So I hope you enjoyed this one. If you did, write a comment below. Share with me any miracle story you might also have. And let me relate with you. Let me thank God on your behalf too. And share with me any dark moments you may be going through right now. And I'm very open to praying with you if you want that, or just sending a word of hope to you. And if you didn't hear anything I've said today, hear this. God has not left the business of doing miracles. He has never left. He will never leave. There is no situation you are going through that is hopeless. Okay? Okay.